It becomes to a point to where it's controlling you more than you're controlling it. Thanks for tuning in. I know you've seen the title of the video. This is about why I decided to stop smoking weed. One of the biggest things in my life was weed for over 20 years. I started way back in like the year 2000. That summer is something that I've been doing every single day. I stopped probably no longer than like 6 months, but I'll always go back to it. One of the biggest things I want to advise people that are trying to stop long term or just stop completely is don't ever look for an end goal. Don't look for like a milestone or like, this is my birthday, this is the end of the year, New Year's, this is a trip that I'm out of town on. So I've been off of it for like 3 weeks, 3 months, 6 months. So I'm gonna go ahead and treat myself, go ahead and go back to it. Don't look at it like that, because once you start looking for a reason to go back to it, it's gonna continue to become an everyday thing. It might just be like on the weekends, it might just be when you're hanging out, but it will turn right back into an everyday dependency. So don't ever look for a finish line. That's something that I always tell myself, because I've stopped before and it would be like maybe like a 6-month campaign, and then I look at it like I might have it under control, and I will always go back to it, and it would just be periodically, and then it would turn right back into an everyday thing. And sometimes I would be even more, into it than I was previously. So you can find yourself more dependent on it than before. This is not a video to tell people what to do. I'm not trying to preach to nobody. This is just from my own personal experiences. I know people have anxiety, some people have insomnia or certain other ailments or physical reasons why they use, and for those I have nothing to say about that. But this is for people that have been dealing with it as far as like recreational use, and it just becomes so much of a part of your life to where it becomes your identity, and it gets to a point to where you can't stop even if you want to, because this is more of a mental thing. I can't say that marijuana is physically addictive. I'm pretty sure nobody can say that, but it is habitual. And there's a difference between habits and addiction. So I know it's a fine line, and I don't want to go all the way into that, but this is something that can really become a big part of your life if you let it. And it was a big part of my life. So what was the decision maker or the deal breaker with me? I would say just growing older. I didn't want to be somebody that was 50, 60 years old, still daily using, still depending on this to get through my day. And I feel like anytime you need a crush, no matter what that is, I feel like that's a hindrance to you as a human. You want to be able to survive and live your life and be yourself no matter what, without any additions or subtractions. I feel like that this is something that a lot of people, they normalize, and they make it something that's cool. And the hip-hop industry, they made it something that's just normal. And sometimes you can get to a point to where it just takes away from you, and it's taken away more than what it's actually giving you. And you can just be using every single day. I was doing it with my friends. This was something that I started doing with my friends, and then it became something that I started doing on my own, just personally smoking every single day. One thing I can say about using is it can become so much of a part of your life to where it becomes a crush, to where it's like you need it every single day, morning, noon, and night. I'm pretty sure anybody that smokes on a regular, they know exactly what I mean. And you don't want anything like that, because it becomes to a point to where it's controlling you more than you're controlling it. I know, like I said, weed is legal in a lot of states recreationally, and right now it's just something that you can just actively go and get. And right now it's harder to quit than any other time before. And a lot of people don't even think about quitting. They just be like, I'm just gonna keep using it. I can go to the store, I can go to the dispensary rather, and buy it. And it's just something that I use day to day. But like I said, you don't want to be physically dependent or mentally dependent on anything, because once it gets to that point, it's like you're weakening yourself. Now, let's talk about quitting. After the first couple of days, you're gonna experience insomnia, you're gonna lose your appetite, you're gonna be very irritable, like every little thing is gonna set you off. it's going to be hard from those first couple of days, but then as time progresses, you know, it's going to be a lot easier. I say maybe after that first 3-week period, you're going to get like a new sense of energy. You're going to feel like a new person. You will start having like these crazy dreams, real vivid dreams that you can actually remember. It's going to be a trip, you know, so don't worry about that because they will subside eventually, but it's going to be a new beginning for you. For me personally, I didn't even know myself as an adult without weed, because ever since I was like 19 up until my 40s, it's something that I did on the regular. So I didn't even really know my adult self without weed. And it was kind of shocking to think about, because I'm like, how can I say that I have knowledge of self? How can I say that I actually know myself as a person if I don't know myself without this substance? And that's something that you might want to think about. Like, do you really know who you are? Do you know yourself? Do you know who you are without that? So think about that as you continue to go on this journey. A lot of people don't really want to challenge themselves to move forward and grow. They just want to stay who they are and who they always have been. And that's cool. If that's who you want to continue to be, by all means, continue. But this is for people that are trying to continue to go on this life journey and continue to grow and continue to be the best person that they can be. Not saying that, you know, smoking weed makes you any less of a person or any worse of a person than anybody else. But like I said, you don't want to continue to be dependent on anything. So after that first 3-month period, you're going to start feeling like a sense of normalcy, to where it's going to kind of get boring. You're going to feel like you have it under control, and you're going to think to yourself, you know, maybe I can go back to it and just control when I use. And it's never going to be what you think it is. I always looked at it like an enhancer. Like, it made movies better, it made food better, it made hanging out with my friends better. Just music, anything you can think of, I felt like it made it better. But once you go back to it after stopping for a period of time, you realize that it really doesn't. It really kind of detaches you from those things that you think that it enhances. It's going to separate you from your friends. You're not going to really be fully engaged in conversations. You're not going to really be paying attention to a movie as much, because unless you sit back smoking one as you're watching it, or you know, you're gonna have other things going through your mind as you're doing that. So it's not like you're fully even engaged in the movie totally, you know, front to finish. You know, you might, it might, but like I said, it's like sporadic. So it doesn't really enhance anything. You know, it's just those memories and that nostalgic feeling that you had, you know, maybe hanging out with your friends. That's the memories that you're really attaching to the substance, to the weed. It's just those fun times that you had using it. But it wasn't it that made those fun times totally. It was just you just enjoying yourself with your friends. So you can kind of attach it to certain situations, or maybe think that, you know, I make music, or I used to make music, and I would think that it would bring out the better artist in me, or make me rap better, make me a better writer. But it really doesn't. Like I said, it's just something that your mind tricks you into doing. So like I said, after that first 3-month period, you're going to experience like a sense of normalcy. It's going to get boring. You're going to lose that initial burst of energy that you had after like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You're going to get like a burst of energy from stopping. You're going to feel like a new person. Then it's going to flatten out. So don't look for a reason to go back, because there's these things. Pretty sure everybody heard about triggers. My biggest trigger would be smelling it. Like, I'd be at the gas station pumping gas, and I smell somebody a couple pumps over in their car smoking, and it'd be like, wow, like, that smells strong. Like, maybe I need to go get something. That smell like some gas. Like, wow, like, maybe I need to hit up the dispensary or call my mans up and see what's good. Don't always look for the triggers, because they're gonna present themselves to you. No matter what, whenever you're trying to move into a new direction, there are going to be things that try to pull you back to your old self. So expect those triggers to present themselves whenever you start trying to go on this journey. So, like I said, I don't want to hold you. I don't want to make this a super long video, but drop some thoughts that you have down below in the comments. If you're starting to quit, if you have quit, if you're thinking about quitting, You know, let me know how you feel about that. Let me know if this video was any help to anybody out there that's going on this journey, because it's not easy. A lot of people look down on people talking about, you know, it's hard for me to stop smoking weed. I know it's not heroin or meth or anything like that, but it is something that's hard to stop, because, I mean, anybody that's done it for a long period of time, it's enjoyable. I'm not gonna front. It is something I did enjoy, but it's not adding to my life, and it's not who I want to continue to be for the direction or the rest of my life. So I feel like the entertainment industry did become a big influence on me using at an early age, because some of my favorite rappers and entertainers were doing it. Some of my favorite movies, I would see people doing it. Some of the older guys in my neighborhood, I would see doing it. So it would be something that I'd be like, you know, maybe I'm gonna check it out. You know, this is like 13, 14 years old. And then it became a everyday thing around 19. So by the time I was 19, 20, every single day. So right now I'm in my early 40s. I could say maybe mid 40s almost. And I put that behind me, and I feel a lot better as a human. I feel a lot better as a person and as a man. So I want to thank you for taking time out to watch this video. Hopefully this video has helped somebody out there, and drop a comment down below.